Hey guys, it's Christian here back from CNH Smallness again for another informative repair video. This one deals with a customer machine I got in there about 3 days ago. It was a gentleman. He brought the machine over. He claimed that he was using it quite heavily out in his yard, and it was running very rough and sluggish. That's what he was claiming to me on the phone, and it was smoking quite heavily out there for it, and he needed to check that, so he brought it over to us, and we took a look at it for him over here, and we found out he had multiple issues, I can say at least right now. The first was, as you see down in the deck on there, he has tons of oil and grass built up on the lower portion of the deck where the tunnel design is right there for that. You see down there. And that was caused by a engine oil being overfilled. Basically, I drained out about 40 ounces of oil, if you can believe that, out of the crank case in this thing here, because I told the guy not to use the machine after he called me up and wanted to bring the thing over, because if it was smoking like nuts, there's always a possibility that the thing's severely overfilled, and that can cause problems because of that specific thing with oil aeration and stuff like that. And he brought it over here, and I drained it out, and like I said before, there's about 40 ounces of oil came out of the crank, and the oil was very, very dark brown, to say the least, as well too. This thing's only about 1.5 years old, and looks like the guy must have beat the piss out as well too for like not maintaining it, for one thing. But the crank was straight, and the blade didn't look too bad or anything. It just looks like he was using it quite excessively, and probably cutting extremely high, thick grass for it out there for it as well too. Plus, he also had water got down the intake down there as well too, and he had a lot of this grass particles down inside the tank here as well too. You probably can't really see that, but there's grass particles down inside the intake on here, down inside the tank. And the carburetor was loaded up full of grass particles in a bowl here as well too. And that's why I always strongly recommend make sure your gas cap up here, make sure the lip is always completely clean of any debris, because anytime you get debris down inside the lip area right here, down inside here as well too, this crap can go right down inside your tank right down here. And these machines don't have a very good filtration system, to say the least, because most of the time they don't have a filter at all, and it'll stop any particles for that. And the other thing was the oil was extremely overfilled, and it was basically puking up out the breather pipe right here as well too, and this thing had to be taken off and anything else like that, because it was just basically pouring out of there. And luckily it didn't screw up the belt down there as well too, because if the oil gets too bad, the belt could start starting to slip down the front wheel drive system on there for as well too, and you need a belt replacement. That's another bill right there for that as well too. Plus, he didn't have the oil dipstick tight on here as well too. It looked like somebody must have been messing with it previous to us, because this dipstick was rather loose on here for that as well too, and there was tons of oil coming up out of here where the dipstick fits on the bottom base or down there as well too. So that thing had to be had to put another seal down there for it and retest it to see if it was going to start puking out over here again. The other problem was his kill system was not working over here right. This thing had to be fixed as well too. So he had like I think a 4-tier problem on her. Oil not seating right here on there properly. That not working right there. The air filter was completely packed with oil. You just see right there. Carb fuel system's clogged up on there. Oil was super high on there. Plus the mess with the deck underneath. It's gonna have to take probably about a half an hour to clean up this whole deck on it with hot soapy water. I'm probably gonna have to hit it with gasoline first, because it's just absolutely soaked with crap on here, and oil that's a mess onto itself for that. And that's why I always recommend maintaining your oil level at all times, preferably between, I'd say between 16 and 20 ounces, because max capacity for most of these Briggs is between 18 and 20. Always check your manual for the proper specifications. Don't take my word for it. Check your OEM service manual that came with your machine for proper capacity, and always maintain your current oil level in your fork, because if it gets too low, your engine will burn up and possibly kill itself because of that. If the oil is too full, it can basically whip up the oil to almost like a foamy slurry, or like some kind of it's almost like a what do you want to call it? I don't know how else to describe it, but the oil becomes filled with bubbles and air bubbles, and those air bubbles cannot allow proper lubrication of the engine, and you can burn up your engine doing that as well too. So always maintain that as well, and always maintain clean gasoline is here as well too, because as I said before, they have a lot of debris. It builds up around the top lips on these things on here, and if you're not careful, that crap falls right down inside the carburetor as well. I said that right down to the tank, and it migrates back down the carburetor as it always does. So those are my clean machine tips right there for you. If anybody has any questions, comments, whatnot, give me a call here. If you want to bring something over, and if you have any pertinent question, just simply leave me a message on my page here, and I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I possibly can. I'll see you guys.